across the rolling, mist-covered moors of Yorkshire, there always lived a beautiful, bittersweet longing, a poignant reminder that the gentlest eras of our lives are often the ones destined to slip away too soon. This is the enduring, heartfelt legacy that made Heartbeat so much more than just a classic television series. It was a deeply comforting chronicle of community, love, and quiet sacrifices that defined the golden innocence of a generation. But today, in 2026, the silent march of time has stepped out of the shadows, altering the beloved Aidensfield family we once knew in ways we never could have predicted. Looking back at these familiar faces is a moving journey through the quiet gravity of changing eras. The village streets have grown quiet, exposing a heartbreaking truth. While some stars are still with us, gracefully carrying the weight of the years, others have already taken their final bow, leaving behind a deep, nostalgic void. In this cinematic retrospective, we will look past the vintage uniforms to reveal the real names, true ages, and private realities of the cast today. Please, try to watch until the very end, because the final, heartbreaking truth waiting for us at the close of this video is something your memories simply aren't ready to face. 1. Nick Berry Heartbeat gave rural England a steady moral heartbeat, and that heartbeat was PC Nick Rowan. Nick Berry, born on April 16, 1963, became unforgettable as the young village policeman from 1992 onward. By 2026, he is 63 years old. Nick Rowan was calm, decent, and quietly brave, the officer who brought kindness and order to Aidensfield without ever losing his humanity. And memories of Nick Berry are like a slow-motion film, imbued with the somber hues of a turbulent era, yet containing an extraordinary vitality. There was a time in his life when he faced the agonizing pain of a stomach ailment, a persistent condition with cruel ulcers that caused physical exhaustion, sleepless nights, and immense mental stress. Yet beneath that fragile exterior lay an iron will. Nick Berry silently endured the most challenging times, resolutely changing his habits, strictly adhering to a rigorous treatment plan, and establishing a strict diet. By 2026, his brilliant early television and musical legacy has built an estimated net worth of $5 million. Choosing a meaningful, family-focused lifestyle in London over a flashy garage of loud hypercars, his true wealth is his permanent, affectionate place in our collective memory. 2. Niamh Cusack. Heartbeat gave Aidensfield a gentle pulse, and that pulse was Dr. Kate Rowan. Niamh Cusack, born on October 20th, 1959, became beloved in the role from 1992 to 1995. By 2026, she is 66 years old. Kate was not only Nick Rowan's wife, she was the village doctor, the calm hand at the bedside, the woman who carried compassion through the misty lanes of 1960s Yorkshire. Unlike the dramatic scenes on screen, the moment Niamh Cusack faced her cancer diagnosis in real life was an immense emotional shock. For Niamh Cusack, breast cancer was not just a life-threatening disease, but also a cruel challenge that directly impacted her mental health, physical well-being, and self-confidence. The days spent in the hospital bed, facing chemotherapy treatments that caused hair loss, painful surgeries, and physical exhaustion were the most challenging times to test a person's endurance. By 2026, Niamh Cusack has secured a deeply respected permanent legacy with an estimated net worth of $3 million. Completely rejecting the loud, ostentatious display of modern luxury car collections, her true wealth is preserved in quiet, artistic contributions and private family estates. 3. Bill Maynard Heartbeat gave the Yorkshire village a mischievous soul, and that soul was Claude Jeremiah Greengrass. Bill Maynard, born Walter Williams on October 8, 1928, played him from 1992 to 2000. When Maynard died on March 30, 2018, he was 89 years old. Greengrass was the lovable rogue, part poacher, part traitor, part troublemaker, but somehow never without charm. Bill Maynard secretly battled a severe and dangerous type 2 diabetes, a grueling endocrine challenge that caused dangerously high blood sugar spikes, dramatic weight fluctuations, and extreme physical fatigue during long hours working under the hot studio lights. A detail that truly touched fans' hearts was how he confronted this exhausting threat in complete privacy. Instead of letting the chronic disease weaken his spirit, Bill Maynard relied on extraordinary willpower to undergo rigorous treatment regimens, intensive cell therapy, and a complete lifestyle change. At the time of his passing, Bill Maynard left behind a well-deserved estate estimated at $1.5 million. He guided his legacy with elegant old-school simplicity, prioritizing quiet provincial life and deep charitable giving over a loud, flashy collection of modern supercars. 4. Kasia Pelka Heartbeat gave Aidensfield a gentle, healing hand, and that hand was Maggie Bolton. Kasia Pelka, born in 1962 in Dewsbury, Yorkshire, became memorable as the district nurse of Heartbeat from the mid-1990s onward. By 2026, she is about 63 to 64 years old. Maggie was warmth, care, and quiet resilience, the woman who entered homes not with authority, but with compassion. Memories of Kasia Pelka are like a slow-motion film, imbued with the somber hues of a fiery era, yet containing an extraordinary vitality. There was a chapter in her life when she faced a cruel challenge, breast cancer. But beneath her fragile appearance lay an iron will. Kasia Pelka silently endured the darkest days, bravely facing chemotherapy, radiation therapy, and arduous surgeries, diligently adhering to strict medical protocols. Miraculously, she overcame this critical period, restoring her body to health and rediscovering the light of life. Following her memorable run in the period drama, Kasia smoothly pivoted toward her other creative passions, launching a highly successful luxury cosmetic brand and occasionally writing, largely stepping back from demanding acting roles. By 2026, her enduring television legacy has built an estimated net worth of $1.5 million. 5. Jason Durr Heartbeat gave Aidensfield a new steady step, and that step was PC Mike Bradley. Jason Durr, born on December 2, 1967, became beloved in the role from 1997 to 2003. By 2026, he is 58 years old. Mike arrived after Nick Rowan, and that was not easy. Viewers had already loved One Village Constable, but slowly, Mike found his own place. Honest, brave, sometimes troubled, and deeply tied to the quiet rhythms of Yorkshire. Without any sharp pains or obvious warning signs, high blood cholesterol sets, and like a cruel and conspicuous killer. Jason Durr's darkest days were marked by numbness in his limbs, vague headaches and dizziness due to poor blood circulation, and the constant fear of dangerous complications like stroke or heart attack. For him, shouldering family responsibilities and the pressures of making ends meet, while simultaneously accepting that his blood was overloaded with plaque buildup, was an incredibly exhausting psychological burden that few could truly understand. By 2026, Jason Durr has secured a highly respected legacy with an estimated net worth of $1.5 million. Completely shunning the ostentatious display of massive luxury supercar collections, he quietly pours his resources into a serene family life and dedicated theater arts education. 6. Claire Calbraith. Heartbeat brought gentleness into Aidensfield through Dr. Tricia Summerby. Claire Calbraith, born on January 1, 1974, played the young doctor from 2000 to 2002 across series 10 to 12. By 2026, she is 52 years old. Tricia arrived first as a recently qualified doctor at Ashfordley General, then became more closely tied to village life when she opened her own practice in Aidensfield. She was calm, capable, and quietly modern, a woman of medicine in a place still ruled by tradition and gossip. Claire Calbraith secretly battled a massive, severely complicated cyst, a painful medical ordeal that caused intense internal discomfort and physical exhaustion during long, grueling hours on the cold film set. A detail that truly touched fans' hearts was how she faced this exhausting threat in absolute privacy. Instead of letting the illness weaken her spirit, Claire Calbraith relied on immense inner strength to endure delicate surgeries and profound lifestyle adjustments. As of 2026, Claire Calbraith commands a well-deserved, hard-earned net worth of approximately $11 million. She guides her immense wealth with sophisticated, understated simplicity, prioritizing artistic, historical residential properties and meaningful creative investments over a loud, flashy collection of modern supercars. 7. David Lonsdale Heartbeat gave Aidensfield a shy, loyal soul, and that soul was David Stockwell. David Lonsdale, born on May 21, 1963, became memorable as the gentle village handyman and lovable helper from 1992 onward. By 2026, he is 62 years old. David was innocence, kindness, and comic awkwardness, the man who often got things wrong, but whose heart was almost always in the right place. Memories of David Lonsdale are like a slow-motion film, imbued with the somber hues of a fiery era, yet containing an extraordinary vitality. There was a time in his life when he faced the agonizing pain of osteoarthritis, a persistent condition characterized by cruel inflammation, causing physical exhaustion, limiting his mobility, and posing a heavy mental burden on his daily life. Yet, beneath that frail exterior lay an iron will. David Lonsdale silently endured the most challenging times, persevering through rehabilitation exercises. By 2026, his brilliant multi-decade television legacy has built an estimated net worth of $1.5 million, choosing a meaningful, community-focused lifestyle in Southport over a flashy garage of loud hypercars. His true wealth is his permanent, affectionate place in our collective memory. 8. Derek Fowlds. Heartbeat gave Aidensfield a firm voice, and that voice was Oscar Blaketon. Derek Fowlds, born on September 2, 1937, became unforgettable in the role from 1992 onward. When he passed away on January 17, 2020, he was 82 years old. Blaketon began as the strict village sergeant, sharp, suspicious, proud of the rules, but over time, he became one of the show's most familiar and strangely comforting faces. Unlike the dramatic scenes on screen, the moment Derek Fowlds faced his lung cancer diagnosis in real life was an incredibly devastating shock. This is a cruel disease that directly attacks the body's source of life. Breathing. The days spent in the hospital bed, facing agonizing coughs, the debilitating lack of oxygen, and the terrifying ordeal after each round of chemotherapy, radiation therapy, or complex surgery to remove part of the lung were the most challenging times for a human being to endure. By 2026, Derek Fowlds has secured a permanent, highly revered legacy, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $2 million. Completely shunning the ostentatious display of massive luxury supercar collections, his true wealth remains preserved in the timeless reruns that continue to soothe lonely hearts across Europe. 9. Mark Jordan Heartbeat gave Aidensfield a loyal policeman with a human heart, and that man was P.C. Phil Bellamy. Mark Jordan, born on January 25, 1965, played Phil from the first series in 1992 until 2007. By 2026, he is 61 years old. Bellamy was not a perfect hero. He was warm, stubborn, sometimes impulsive, the kind of village officer who felt less like a character and more like someone viewers had known for years. Mark Jordan secretly battled a severe and dangerous type 2 diabetes, a grueling endocrine challenge that caused dangerously high blood sugar spikes, dramatic weight fluctuations, and extreme physical fatigue during long hours working under the hot studio lights. A detail that truly touched fans was how he faced this exhausting threat in complete privacy. Instead of letting the chronic disease weaken his spirit, Mark Jordan relied on extraordinary willpower to endure rigorous treatment regimens, intensive cell therapy, and a complete lifestyle change. As of 2026, Mark Jordan commands a well-deserved, hard-earned net worth of approximately $5 million. He guides his fortune with sophisticated, understated simplicity, choosing cozy, historic properties in northern England over a loud, flashy collection of modern supercars. 10. Vanessa Hahir Heartbeat gave Aidensfield a bright, modern spark, and that spark was Rosie Cartwright. Vanessa Hahir, born in 1981, became memorable as the lively, independent barmaid and young woman of the village from the later years of the series. By 2026, she is about 44 to 45 years old. Rosie was warmth, energy, and youthful confidence, a character who brought new life into Aidensfield while still carrying the familiar softness of the show. Therefore, persistent sinusitis was once a real nightmare for Vanessa Hahir. The throbbing pain in her forehead, nasal congestion, and prolonged sleepless nights not only wore down her body and left her face tired under makeup, but also severely affected her voice and acting performance in front of the camera. She sought treatment from both Eastern and Western medicine, diligently practiced nasal steaming. The complete recovery from the disease after months of perseverance is a well-deserved reward for a scientific lifestyle and an unyielding spirit. By 2026, her exceptional television legacy has built an estimated net worth of $1.5 million. Choosing a meaningful, family-focused lifestyle over a flashy garage of loud hypercars, her true wealth is her permanent, affectionate place in our collective memory. 11. Peter Benson Heartbeat gave Aidensfield its small-town mischief, and Bernie Scripps was one of the faces that made it feel real. Peter Benson, born on April 3, 1943, became beloved as Bernie from 1995 until the end of the series. When he passed away on September 6, 2018, he was 75 years old. The storm came without warning, striking on an ordinary day. When Peter Benson held the diagnosis of kidney cancer in his hands, his world crumbled in an instant. Without lengthy lamentations, the terrible disease thrust him into a true battle for survival, a battle against the overwhelming fear of physical deterioration and the fragile line between life and death. But instead of surrendering to fate's harsh judgment, Peter Benson chose to stand tall, confronting his enemy head-on and begin a tenacious counterattack. By 2026, Peter Benson has secured a permanent, highly cherished legacy, leaving an estimated net worth of $1 million. Completely shunning the ostentatious vanity of modern luxury supercar collections, his real wealth remains beautifully preserved in the timeless, comforting reruns that continue to bring smiles to families across the world. 12. Gwen Taylor Heartbeat gave Aidensfield many sharp tongues, but Peggy Armstrong had one of the brightest. Gwen Taylor, born on February 19, 1939, played Peggy from 2005 to 2009. By 2026, she is 87 years old. Peggy was bold, funny, and wonderfully impossible, a woman with schemes in her pocket and a look that said she was already 3 steps ahead. Behind her radiant on-screen persona lay a silent, arduous crisis that threatened her life off the stage. Gwen Taylor was diagnosed with a severe, highly aggressive form of pancreatic cancer, a devastating medical ordeal that subjected her to excruciating pain and physical exhaustion throughout her demanding filming schedule. While undergoing complex abdominal surgeries and intense chemotherapy cycles, Gwen Taylor relied on extraordinary inner strength to survive. She didn't passively endure the pain, but completely overcame the cancer, returning to the spotlight with a complete and triumphant recovery. As of 2026, Gwen Taylor commands a well-deserved, hard-earned net worth of approximately $3 million. She guides her fortune with sophisticated, old-school simplicity, prioritizing a cozy, artistic residential home and heavy support for local children's charities over a loud, flashy collection of modern supercars.